Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. Bitcoin is all the way up at $26,570. We did see Bitcoin touch that $38,000 level yesterday, I believe. Let's take a look at the chart here quickly on cryptosavingexpert.com. You can see we touched that $38,000 level yesterday. Bitcoin is in the green again for the day, looking to move to the upside. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin on the charts quickly here, because we've been looking at major level of resistance here on these live streams, and we look like we are about to take that out, and it's really exciting. So if we take a look at the weekly chart here, you can see we had two major levels on our charts, and these lines have been drawn on for a while now. We've got this level of support at 31,780. That was used as a level of support in the previous bull market. It's been used as a level of resistance in this bear market, and now we've managed to break above that pretty confidently. Now, another level and zone we are really looking at is this level here. So we're looking at between the $37,770 level to around this zone here, which I'd say at $39,000, and we are trying to attack that right now, and that is so exciting. Now, we've got so much to talk about today. The news that has been going on this week has been absolutely crazy. Jason Smith says ETH seems to have been on a tear over the last 24 hours. We will be talking about that today. Exciting news has come out. We'll also analyze the chart of Ethereum versus Bitcoin. That is the chart that I personally pay most attention to, because that's how I can make more Bitcoin. If Ethereum's going to outperform Bitcoin, of course I want to move into there for a little bit of time. So we're going to be analysing that chart today. We'll be analysing the price of Ethereum as well. But first of all, make sure to hit like, subscribe, press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest crypto news. Monkey Nuts says, top of the morning to you, Jess. Are you from Ireland, Monkey Nuts? Let's take a look at this here and see what's going on in the markets. We have Bitcoin at $36,912. We have Ethereum at just under $2,100, up almost 10% within the last 24 hours. And in terms of biggest gainers and losers, we've got FTT up another 25%. Like, why is it still there? Why does this still exist? FTT was the token that came with FTX, the centralized exchange. FTX is looking more and more likely to be relaunching as an exchange, which is why we're seeing volatility in the FTT token. But it's just bizarre. I want to be looking at this screen here and being happy with the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum moving to the upside. I don't want to see FTT in the top gainers. I want to see a real coin that I like. What we've got here is Lido up over 20%, Ethereum Classic up almost 14%, and Ethereum up almost 10% there as well. It's not very often that we see a Bitcoin or Ethereum in these top gainers there. We've also got in the biggest losers, PancakeSwap down over 10%, Trust Wallet and Aave there as well. So some volatility in the markets to say the least, but I think people are moving and trying to rotate their coins really to get the best of these gains. We have officially hit the part of the cycle where you feel FOMO every single way you look. You go onto Twitter and you just get FOMO after FOMO after FOMO, because people are making money in this space left, right and center, and it's so hard to manage your own portfolio with all the skills you've learned during the bear market with all this FOMO going on. And that's why bull markets get so difficult. When in a bear market, it's easy to say, this is my strategy, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, because in a bull market, it comes and it all falls apart because X so-and-so's made X amount on this token in this sector, so I should be looking at this sector, but then someone else has made money in this sector, and you just get pulled left, right, and center trying to do as much research as possible, which is why we always say pick a strategy, stick to it, choose a small percentage of your portfolio to make some risky trades if you really want to do so, but make sure you're sticking to your strategy, you're not changing it, don't let your emotions get the better of you, and follow what you have planned to do. Let's take a look here in the chat. What's going on here? Live in Ireland, but from Tamworth, England originally. Very nice. Let's take a look at what's going on in the markets then, because there's been a lot of change and we need to be talking about this. It is Friday and it's been a very, very good week. First news story of the day, here we go. Blackrock is confident that the SEC will approve their spot Bitcoin ETF by January. Now, what we've seen is the SEC, obviously, we don't need to go into too much detail about this, have 8 to 10 applications in front of them for a spot Bitcoin ETF. The SEC have 4 dates by which they need to make a decision for these applications. For the first 3, they can either accept, reject, or postpone their decision, and for the final one they need to make a decision. Now, the final deadline for the majority of these ETF applications is in March, around the 15th of March, but we actually have a deadline before that which they could decide to delay their response for, and that is in January, around the 15th, 16th of January. Now, BlackRock feel confident apparently that the SEC will actually approve their spot Bitcoin ETF, and it will come before that final deadline in January, which would be amazing for the price of Bitcoin. I would be so excited to see this news these applications get accepted. As I said in yesterday's stream, the importance of a spot Bitcoin ETF is it really removes that barrier to entry for cryptocurrency. A lot of people feel so fearful about coming into the cryptocurrency space, and especially during a bull market when there's so much foam in the markets, there's a huge percentage of people that want to get in and see the hype and get all excited about the cryptocurrency space, but they can't be bothered to do their research. They don't want to learn what centralized exchange they should use, how to do KYC and AML, and how to buy the tokens on these centralized exchanges. It all just seems too much work for somebody that's just heard about it and wants to throw a little bit of money at it and see what happens. But a spot Bitcoin ETF makes things so much easier, because it just means that we just have to say, do you know what, I want to buy some of this ETF, and it's as easy as investing in any other ETF or stock essentially. So it really removes that barrier to entry for the cryptocurrency space, and that is something that really holds us back in a bull market. In a bear market, not so much, because in a bear market you feel like you have time. In a bull market, when you don't feel like you have time, people just decide, oh, I'm too late, I'm not going to bother if it's too complicated. So having that ETF could just mean that we see a huge amount of adoption. Also, with these big companies applying for spot Bitcoin ETFs, every time somebody to have a spot Bitcoin ETF, they need to have the Bitcoin to back it. So they need to buy a huge amount of Bitcoin, which could push the price of Bitcoin up massively as well. So very exciting things going on here. Somebody asked yesterday about the fees to do with the spot Bitcoin ETF. There will be fees involved with purchasing spot Bitcoin ETF and holding whatever. I personally won't be buying any spot Bitcoin ETF. I know how to purchase Bitcoin. I know how to use self-custody. If you have researched the field and you understand that and you understand the importance of self-custody, I don't imagine many of you will be choosing to buy the spot Bitcoin ETF. And obviously transaction fees can be raised there because they're making accessibility of the token much easier for people, so they can put the fees or whatever they want essentially. But I personally won't be using it. The fees may be a problem, and also I don't like holding my funds on centralized exchanges, so why would I trust BlackRock with my funds? I've come here for self-custody, so I will be using self-custody. There are some limitations that you have with a spot Bitcoin ETF. You don't own the asset, BlackRock do. You own the contract to the asset. So there are obviously, I really think it's more for the adoption of cryptocurrency from people that aren't in crypto, rather than for people that watch this live stream every day, that have access to centralized exchanges, have logged in, have bought crypto before, know how it all works, know how to use self-custody, how to buy a hardware wallet and transfer your Bitcoin across. If you know how to do all that, there are, in my opinion, more limitations with buying spot Bitcoin ETF than doing it all yourself. If you can do it yourself, I mean, I can do it myself, so I'm not going to be buying the ETF, but it is still brilliant for the space as a whole. It's specifically for the people that have FOMO but don't want to do their research, I believe. Oh, don't want to do their research about how to buy and store Bitcoin. Anyway, let's take a look at the next article here and see what is going on. BlackRock has registered an Ethereum trust in Delaware. So this news was 18 hours ago. We've had more news about this since then, but let's read through this article first, and then we'll analyze the price of Ethereum here. So BlackRock has registered an Ethereum trust as they look to increase their crypto exposure, and the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, has registered an Ethereum trust in Delaware. So an Ethereum trust is essentially just a company that has holds Ethereum, So the news broke on Thursday afternoon, causing Ethereum to spike to $2,000. And then, since then, we've seen Blackrock spot ETF buzz. What's the retail demand? Now, that's a question there. We will talk about that in just a second. But what we've seen is BlackRock have registered the iShares Ethereum Trust in Delaware, resulted in $48 million worth of liquidations in Ethereum shorts. The initial announcement was made on Twitter, later confirmed by Bloomberg ETF analysts. Now, so basically, they've tried to list spot Ethereum ETF. So what we're going to see here is some changes in the markets. What we've seen is a massive bounce for the price of Ethereum. Let's go through this article first of all, and then we'll jump across there. So the X account following up by the news seemingly originated from a Twitter account, where they shared the iShares Ethereum Trust has just been registered in Delaware, and the Twitter account followed up by stating, for context, BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust was registered in a similar manner 7 days before they filed the ETF application with the SEC. Therefore, the anticipation will shift towards a potential spot ETF filing by BlackRock if it is to repeat its past movements with how it handled the Bitcoin filing. Now, a senior ETF analyst from Bloomberg verified the statement from the X account by saying, BlackRock has made its first step towards filing for a spot Ether ETF. I just confirmed on the website myself. So there's a screenshot of the website there, and we are seeing a massive move for Ethereum here. Now, a question that's been risen in this article is there demand for an Ethereum ETF? We've got so much excitement around spot Bitcoin ETFs, but will we have that same demand for Ethereum ETFs? Let's take a look at this article here, because this goes into detail. So, professional traders placed bullish Ethereum bets using derivatives. You can see that on that chart very, very quickly. To understand how professional traders are positioned after the surprise rally, one should analyze the ETH derivatives metrics. Normally, ETH and monthly futures trade at 5 to 10% annualized premium compared to spot markets, indicating that sellers demand additional money to postpone settlements. The ETH futures premium jumped to 9.5% on November the 9th, marked the highest level in over a year, and broke above the 5% neutral threshold on October 31st. Now, what else are we seeing in here? We're seeing retail indicators point to dormant a demand for ETH and cryptocurrencies. So, Google searches for buy Ethereum, buy ETH, and buy Bitcoin have been stagnant for the past week. One might argue that retail traders typically lag the bull runs, usually entering the cycle a couple of months, days or weeks after major price marks and 6 months highs have been hit. However, there has been a decline in demand for cryptocurrencies when using stablecoins premium as a gauge for Chinese retail trader activity. Now, we can look at all these indicators here, and we can see that, yes, there may have been lower demand during the bear market, but when a bull market kicks in, I think there could be a lot of demand for an Ethereum ETF. Now, there's a reason for this. I've been in cryptocurrency for a very long time, and every time I speak about cryptocurrency in a bear market, people say, what? You believe in Bitcoin? Like, surely that's gone. You're one of those people that just still think it's going to come back. And it's very frustrating, but I hear that all the time. And then in a bull market, people go, oh, I missed out on Bitcoin. Such a shame. I was going to buy it. I had one Bitcoin in 2010. All of those stories about used to own Bitcoin, should have bought Bitcoin, heard about Bitcoin, was going to buy Bitcoin, didn't buy Bitcoin at the end of the day, come out at parties, and then you hear them say, but now I've missed out on Bitcoin, what about Ethereum? First of all, I wouldn't say you've missed out on Bitcoin. Second of all, Ethereum is a great alternative. Ethereum could potentially see bigger gains in the bull market because it has that lower market cap. It has had a little bit less exposure than Bitcoin, so there is still that excitement around it. And with a spot Bitcoin ETF, yes, I think there's so much excitement there, and I think that will have most demand, but some people always try and look for the next best thing. People always say, outside and inside of crypto, this is the next Bitcoin, this is the next Ethereum. Now, I don't agree with those statements, but this is how people think. This is what people think about the cryptocurrency space. So I do think the demand will be there for the spot Bitcoin ETFs. No, spot Ethereum ETFs, sorry. If we take a look at how Ethereum has performed against Bitcoin in the last couple of days. In fact, in the last day, you can see it's had a massive move to the upside there. In fact, it's bounced off this previous level of support. So Ethereum Bitcoin was in this descending wedge for a really long time, and then it broke down to the downside. And we were going down and down and down, and then last week, we really started to see a change in this, a reversal on this chart. We've seen a confirmation bounce here right now, though, that we are seeing that support being used as a resistance once again, and keeping a close eye on that level there. So that is at 0.05782, and that is a line that I'll be watching closely. But this chart really now heavily depends on what's going on in the news. If a spot Bitcoin ETF gets accepted before January, within the next couple of weeks, Bitcoin's gonna move, and Ethereum may have to slow down a little bit in that process. What we typically see is Bitcoin performing really well, having a little bit of a breather. When it has that breather, Ethereum and the other altcoins start to step in and move a little bit. So what's happening here is the news is really having a big effect on the price charts here. Ethereum wouldn't necessarily have had that massive pump had we not seen that news from Blackrock and the excitement around the spot Ethereum ETF. So that is why we are seeing these changes in the markets. But right now, I am still holding on to my position of predominantly having Bitcoin in my portfolio, because I think a spot Bitcoin ETF would come first before a spot Ethereum ETF. Yes, there's excitement and hype around this right now. If BlackRock do officially file for a spot Ethereum ETF with the SEC, yes, it could see some excitement and it could see a move to the upside on this chart comparing Ethereum against Bitcoin, which would indicate that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. But in my portfolio, which I don't move around very often, I am waiting for that spot Bitcoin ETF acceptance and that move to the upside before I really start to diversify with that portion of my portfolio. Obviously, nothing is financial advice. This is all just my opinion. Do your own research and all of that good stuff. But really looking at this chart is really important. If this chart is moving to the upside, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. If it's moving to the downside, Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. I've been holding Bitcoin for a long period of time now because Ethereum has been poorly performing against Bitcoin, as expected at this point in the market. Typically, Bitcoin will perform pretty well. Bitcoin will be one of the best performers until around that Bitcoin halving, and then we start to see some shift. What will happen is, start of the bull market, Bitcoin's performing best, because in a bear market, would you rather buy some really low cap altcoins, some even mid cap altcoins, or Bitcoin when there's so much uncertainty in the markets during a bear market? You don't want to be buying altcoins. The only token that you really have that long-term mentality for with confidence is Bitcoin. Well, that's what I find anyway. So in a bear market, I am just accumulating Bitcoin, maybe some Ethereum, and maybe some of those big top 10 cryptocurrencies, but I'm just looking at Bitcoin because Bitcoin tends to perform the best. And then in that first rally of the bull market, we see Bitcoin outperforming the markets. And then we start to see a shift, and we see a sort of cycle. So we see Bitcoin performing best, then a shift into Ethereum and some top altcoins, then a shift into the mid-cap altcoins, and then a shift into the low-cap altcoins. And when that happens, you know it's time to run. So we are seeing some changes in the markets here, and maybe this is the start of the shift into Ethereum, and maybe this is the shift to move out of Bitcoin into those other coins to really see some gains in terms of your Bitcoin value. But I'm playing the long game here. I think the spot Bitcoin ETF is really important. I am anticipating that it will be accepted. It's not 100% confirmed that it will be accepted, but we are holding out here to see some positive news to come there. With this news about Ethereum, of course, it is very, very exciting, but I'm keeping a close eye on this Ethereum Bitcoin chart to see what's going on there. Let's see what else is going on here in the news, though. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, talking about what's going on in the market, seeing what's going on with the prices. We've got more news here to talk about Ethereum. Ethereum to hit a new all-time high of 5,824, according to a report by 2025. Now let's take a look at the price of Ethereum here and see what's going on. We did draw some levels of support and resistance last week. They've been absolutely destroyed here. If you take a look here on the 4-week chart, you can see it's broken to the upside. Massive gains there. If you were trading that line, congratulations. What we've seen here is we have been stopped by this level of resistance that has been used previously at $2,140. We had that level of resistance on the 16th of April this year, and we are now using it as a level of resistance again. If we manage to break up from here, it could be pretty exciting though. Let's take a look here. So Ethereum is currently trading at $2,140. Its bull market high last time was $4,850. So we're looking to be around 50% down, 60% down. Let's take a look at this. We are down 56% from the all-time high here. Now, we've got a major level of previous support here. That is at the $2,490 level. We've also, I mean, you can, on the weekly chart, it's so easy to identify levels of support and resistance. These are major levels that we should be looking at in the near future. Whether we're going to hit these soon, who knows? What we've got here is a level of previous support, previous resistance, and support there. That's that $3,000 level. It's a really strong level of resistance on the Ethereum chart. But we've got some significant levels to be watching. They're not in the near future. They're a bit far ahead there. But what you can see here is we are currently trapped into that level of resistance at $2,140. Definitely something to be keeping an eye on. We do have a level of previous resistance at $2,000, which will hopefully act as a level of support if we do come back down to that price zone. But right now, things are heating up and things are getting exciting here. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news. Moving away from the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum for just a second, we can see here Tom Eller's amendment to tame the SEC enforcement has passed the House. So we actually watched a full video on this yesterday. And it was a video of Tom Emmer discussing the problems that we see within the SEC. We're talking about the lack of guidance, the lack of clarity to determine whether assets are securities or commodities. We're talking about the inability to see the FTX was not operating as they said they were. We are talking about the overreach when it comes to the SEC regulating companies that maybe they do not actually have regulatory authority to be investigating. We are looking at how they are investigating Coinbase, a company that has tried incredibly hard to understand the regulation in the US, has cooperated with the enforcement, the regulators in the US, and has not chose to move offshore when it comes to trying to create a big company. The SEC have chose to investigate them publicly and kind of make a show of them, even though they've done everything they possibly can, it seems, to be regulated in the correct way. So Tom Emmer is saying, look, we need to limit the funding to the SEC. They're using taxpayers' money to overreach in what they are regulating. Now, there's some interesting debates in there. I definitely agree with a lot of what was said in yesterday's statements. We need some clear guidelines around determining whether an asset should be regulated by the SEC or not. I think that would really cool off what they're working on in the SEC. So we are seeing here that he also wanted to make Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC's salary, $1 instead of $300,000. But let's take a look at this. In April, Emma referred to Gensler as a bad faith actor and stated that the commission had missing the bad actors in the industry that needed to be held accountable and instead go after others. We saw that with FTX. I've basically just recapped everything that's gone on here, but he has Crypto Wendy replied to Emma's X post. Let's take a look at this. So Emma tweeted saying, Gary Gensler is as ineffective as he is incompetent. Fortunately, my non-partisan appropriations amendment to rein in the SEC enforcement abuses against the digital asset industry passed the House today with no opposition. Congress will hold unelected bureaucrats accountable. So it'll move on to the next stage there. And Wendy Owers said, how much longer do we need to wait for change though? It's a circus at this point and feels like election season propaganda to obtain votes. What's happening here is we want to see these change. Yes, we are seeing positive moves here from Tom Emmer, but how long will it actually take for us to get some clear guidelines on what the SEC should be regulating? It's all great to see all these positive impacts, but we need some clear regulation and guidelines, and we want that sooner rather than later. So let's take a look at the next article here and see what else is going on. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday. We have done since Bitcoin was down at $16,000 on the 7th of December, and we will continue to do so until we reach a new all-time high. Let's take a look at what is going on here. Riot Platforms declares 7,324 Bitcoin in its holdings. The Bitcoin miner released its Q3 financials, revealing it holds its holdings and Bitcoin production. So massive amount of Bitcoin there. Average cost of $5,537 per Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now trading at $36,000. So massive gains there. Riot stated that it held 7,327 Bitcoin at the end of the quarter, alongside $290 million in cash, representing a combined $500 million in liquidity for the company. So Marathon Digital leads Riot. We have seen changes here in the mining sector during the bear market. It's all eyes on mining companies, like, can they survive this? Because when the price of Bitcoin's low, the amount of revenue they're creating is decreasing compared to the amount of electricity, the amount that they've spent on hardware. So while their expenses are staying the same, their income is decreasing. And in a bear market, there's only so long you can continue to go like that for. So now we've come out the other side and we're seeing positive price movements for Bitcoin. A lot of confidence moves back for these Bitcoin miners, and their stock prices change very volatile as well. A lot of people say, look, crypto is a volatile market. Crypto-related stocks are very volatile. Let's take a look at the next one here and see what else is going on. Actually, before we get onto that, I want to take a look at this one. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy is now up nearly $1 billion on its Bitcoin investment. It has $1 billion in unrealized gains from purchasing Bitcoin here. So now, after its most recent run-up of a high to $35,000, they're sitting on an unrealized gain of nearly $1 billion. So massive moves there. The company's initial investment at a cost basis of $4.68 billion has now soared to a value of $5.62 billion, representing a $932 million profit. So massive gains there. MicroStrategy have been buying Bitcoin no matter what. In fact, let's pull that up. MicroStrategy buying Bitcoin chart and see what's going on there. So here we go. We can pull this in now. So what we've got here is every single time MicroStrategy have bought Bitcoin, yes, they started buying down here and they've continued to buy. Their first purchase on here being at $10,000, moving all the way up, buying as high as $59,000, $339, and again buying as low as $16,000, just continuing to average into the price of Bitcoin whenever they can and seeing some nice gains as a result of that. So that's very nice to see there. Let's take a look at what else is going on here in the markets. We've got ordinals inscriptions on Bitcoin reaches $38 million. Bitcoin ordinal inscriptions continue to rack up as NFTs on the network remain a topic of interest. I've not really heard too much about ordinals within the last couple of weeks, but things are changing. Network congestion on Bitcoin was a hot topic when Bitcoin ordinals really started to pop off and have a big craze earlier this year. And we are now seeing, as the inscription NFTs demand raise, issues did as well. But it has kind of cooled off. The congestion on the network is still unresolved with 462,000 unconfirmed transactions as of late September. This week, the network went an entire hour without processing a block, only the fourth time this has occurred in the last 3 years. So there is some congestion issues on Bitcoin here. NFTs and ordinals have not helped that at all this year, but it's all part of the investigating how we can use blockchain technology. It's all part of the process. Let's take a look at the next article here and see what else is going on. Crypto asset reporting framework to be incorporated by 47 countries by 2027. So the crypto asset reporting framework will be adopted into law by 47 countries in 2027. Let's take a look at this. A collective commitment has been made by 47 national governments to incorporate crypto asset reporting framework into their domestic legal systems. So we're looking at creating a more broader regulatory framework for crypto assets here. That could be really helpful. What we're seeing right now is so many cryptocurrency companies trying to operate in all of these different regions, but in each of these regions there's a new law popping up left, right and centre constantly. I feel so sorry for the regulatory team at centralised exchanges and other cryptocurrency projects, because it's one thing after another. Things change so quickly in just one region. When you're trying to operate in multiple regions, that is a massive task that you've got to keep up with. You've got to try and refocus your efforts depending on the changing rules constantly. It's a big problem. I'll drop the link to this article in the chat if you want to take a look at the changes that are being made there. But let's move on to the next one and see what's going on. Clarity Act aims to limit US federal ties with Chinese crypto. So US lawmakers have introduced a new act to limit the interactions federal employees can have with Chinese cryptocurrency. So American representatives have introduced the Creating Legal Accountability for Rogue Innovators and Technology Act to Congress. The act aims to stop federal government officials from partaking in transactions with Chinese blockchain companies. In a statement, they emphasized that this legislation would safeguard the US against potential access points for critical national security intelligence and the private information of Americans by foreign adversaries. I'll drop the link to this one in the chat as well. Let's move on to the next one and see what else is going on here today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. On Monday, we got about 1,100 views on these live streams. Let me take a look and see what we were on then. On Monday, we have had, let me pull that up. Monday's live stream, 6th of November, on Tuesday's live stream, we've had almost 1,500 views on that stream, and that is because we managed to reach 50 likes. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button and help us get on more people's For You page. The more people we reach, the more we can educate about the cryptocurrency space, and the more we can create a big community, and that is exactly what we're trying to do with Crypto Saving Experts. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest crypto news. It really helps. We've been doing these live streams since Bitcoin was at $16,000. We want to continue to do so and build a nice community, and it's always much more fun when we've got an active live chat there as well. So make sure to hit the like button and get more people involved in these live streams. What else have we got here? The EliPal Titan 2.0, the new leader of air-gapped cold wallets. So the EliPal team is back with their new and improved Titan 2.0 air-gapped hardware wallet. We have been fortunate to have had early access to delve into the remarkable new features this futuristic wallet offers. So the Titan 1 was a heavy hitter in the cryptocurrency hardware wallet market. Their second offering looks like it will follow in its predecessor's footsteps. It provides a secure, easy, and fully offline solution to cryptocurrency storage in a device which prioritizes privacy and removes potential vulnerabilities associated with connectivity. So you can see the wallet there. It looks very, very nice. I believe they've actually sent a couple to Crypto Saving Expert as well, and we've actually had somebody in the team unboxing that and making this article here so we can see what's going on under the hood of the EliPal 2.0. We're looking at security, compatibility, asset management with the support of over 10,000 different coins and tokens. We're looking at account management, pros and cons. You can see here some big gains here. One thing that people don't take into account when they're buying cryptocurrency hardware wallets is the support of the tokens they're looking to hold. People think, quite often people think that you can hold any cryptocurrency you want on hardware wallets, but you need to see if the software actually supports the network that you are looking to use to transfer your tokens onto the wallet. If not, then you need to be looking elsewhere. But this obviously holds a huge amount of projects there. You can see a big conclusion and breakdown of the EliPal 2.0. You can also see here that we have got a discount code, $20 discount if you place your order now with Titan 20, and if you use that link at the end of this article. So I'll drop the link there in the chat. Self-custody is definitely something you should be doing your research on if you do not use self-custody already or use a hardware wallet already. We have seen the negative effects that happen when we trust centralized exchanges over the last year or so, and we've all learned from those and tried to build on from those. We've seen more than ever there's more wallets now holding $1,000 worth of Bitcoin than ever before. I believe that was the report that we were talking about last week, and I believe that's partly due to the fact that we are seeing more adoption of Bitcoin, and partly due to the fact that people are now actually moving their cryptocurrency off centralized exchanges. Don't be the person that gets left behind. We've seen what happens with centralized exchanges. Yes, we want to trust the majority of them. Yes, they have some advanced features that just make things so much easier, but do not have your whole portfolio on a centralized exchange if you don't have to. There are other safer ways to store your cryptocurrency, with that being hardware wallets, software wallets. Take a look at them, do your research. If you go to cryptosavingexpert.com and you take a look at the courses section here, we have a free course. If you have not got Community Plus, you can still access this in Crypto 101. So you can make a free account on cryptosavingexpert.com and go to that 20-minute online safety course. Learn about how to stay safe online, especially if you are in the cryptocurrency space. That is so important, and that course is absolutely for free. So make sure to check that out. Let's take a look at the next article here and see what's going on. SpaceX wins order blocking anti-refugee bias lawsuit by the US. So Elon Musk's SpaceX won a court order blocking the US from moving forward with a complaint that accused it of discriminating against refugees in hiring. So that's kind of left there, parked, and moved on. One article we are seeing here, which is very interesting. So we've seen from Peck Shield a tweet saying, "Hi Poloniex, you may want to take a look at this." And it looks like we could be seeing a huge amount of money being moved from the Poloniex wallet. Now, there are concerns here that it could have been drained of around $63 million in cryptocurrency. So definitely something to be keeping an eye on here and be aware of. Let's see if Poloniex have responded to this tweet in the last couple of hours. Our wallet has been disabled for maintenance. We will update this thread once the wallet has been re-enabled. Is that the only tweet they've said about this? Let's see what's going on here. Let's take a look at what's going on in the comments. It looks like they've not added anything but that tweet there. We can see you guys lost over 40 wallets there. We've got time running out, suspicious, maintenance, just doing some wallet rotation to North Korea. Maintaining what? So by maintenance, do you mean getting drained of 18.5 million? People speculating a lot in the comments here. We will stay up to date with what's going on with Poloniex. I know a lot of you are Poloniex users, so keep in mind with that. Let's see what's going on there. As always, not your keys, not your crypto. Be as safe as possible. Use hardware wallets, software wallets. Store your cryptocurrency somewhere safe. Don't take the risks if you don't have to. And if you are knowledgeable enough to learn about what's going on with self-custody, then you should do so. SquarePeg says, "Love your work, but please slow down, relax, and stop shouting." These are all skills that I need to attain, and these are skills that I've not yet attained. I speak so quickly all of the time in my day-to-day. It's not just on these streams. I'm trying to slow down. I forget very frequently, and I shout very loud on these streams as well. I have been told that numerous times. It feels like I need to shout, but this microphone actually is quite good, so there's no need for me to shout at all. Let's take a look at what's going on with the price of Bitcoin here, because it looks like it's moving to the upside. Let's take a look here. On the Binance chart, you can see we're at $36,950. If we take a look at the 1 hour chart, you can see we've just had a nice big wick to the upside there. On the 15-minute chart, a quick move to the upside before a little bit of retracement there. Let's see what's going on here. Maybe another attack of that $37,760 level. Potentially. That would be really, really nice to see. On the daily chart here, we are looking to see if we can break through these levels of resistance. It's a whole zone really between $37,700 and $39,000. We do also have the CME gap to be taking a look at today. So let's pull that up here. So Bitcoin CME. So the CME is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. It's the largest derivatives exchange in the world. And this is an exchange that is only operational between Monday and Friday. So when it closes on a Friday, the chart just stops. This line just stops. This time just stops. It goes to nothing. It just stays still for the weekend. And then it opens again and the price of Bitcoin just jumps to wherever it is at that point in time. And that's why we get these gaps in the markets, because on the Friday, the chart just stopped. And then on the Monday, it just opened again wherever it was on the Monday when the price of Bitcoin moves, because Bitcoin moves over the weekend, obviously. So what we get is these gaps here. And these gaps act like magnets for the Bitcoin price until they've been filled. Now, to fill a gap, we need to see price action within that zone, that price range. So, for example, we've got a gap here, which is from January 2023. And that was a gap because you can see on the Monday it was there, on the Friday it was there, and on the Monday it was there. And we never saw price action within that range. Now, that's acting like a magnet for the Bitcoin price. And then on the 10th of March 2023, we filled that gap because we saw price action within that range. So that gap is filled and no longer acting like a magnet. Now, one gap that has not been filled is this one here. You can see we've got a gap down at $20,355. That's acting like a magnet for the Bitcoin price negatively. We did have one all the way up at $35,000. As you all know by now, we have traded in that range in the last week and we have filled that gap now, so that's no longer acting as a magnet. I mean, is the 20,000 one strong enough to cause a move to the downside? I personally don't think so, but it's up for debate. What else have we got here? I don't think we've got any gaps right now, but the reason we are talking about this right now is because we need to be seeing what's going to happen tonight, because this chart is going to stop again tonight. Now, we tend to see sideways action for Bitcoin over the weekend, but if we see a huge move to the upside over the weekend, then we need to be aware of these CME gaps and how they work and the fears that they may create a magnet to the downside. Alternatively, if we do see a little bit of a pullback over the weekend and we get a nice big gap above it, then it's always nice to see. So we'll see how that plays out, but that's something to be aware of today. These charts do close. The CME, to find this on TradingView, search BTC1 exclamation mark and it will come up there. And just make sure to keep an eye on this over the weekend, because it's always fun. Some people actually just trade the CME chart and just wait for the gap, trade the gap, because typically gaps do close in the beginning of the following week. Not all of the time, but typically there's a pretty good success rate there. So some people do just choose to trade these CME gaps, and it does tend to work out quite a lot of the time. Jerome says Sol is going for $80. Let's take a look at that. Sol USDT. Before we continue with this, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button. We're currently on 21 likes. We got 1,500 views on Tuesday's stream because we hit 50 likes. So please make sure to like today's stream if you haven't already. Help us push out to more people. Help us build a bigger community and get more people involved in the cryptocurrency space. We have seen a massive move to the upside here for Solana. It's moved massively. In fact, it's at $49, and its all-time high for the bull market was up at $258. Again, for Link is shocking. It's on a tear to the upside, and it just doesn't want to stop. If we delete all these lines, I keep deleting these lines, and they just keep coming back again. We can see we've got a massive trend line here, and it broke to the upside after being below that for 530 days. And it broke above that on the 22nd of October, and it's just been on a tear to the upside. It has not stopped. It's been insane. In fact, from that breakout, we've seen a 77% increase, and if we take it from the low of the bear market, we've seen a 236% increase. And that really shows, actually, that's so funny. It really shows the purpose and the reason as to why we want to be involved in the bear market. The price difference from here, let's get that right. Let's get that off. The price difference from the bottom of the bear market to there, to the price of breakout, was 72%. Yes, that's quite significant. But the gains you get from being in during those lows and accumulating during the lows is mad when you look at the full gains there. That's 209% because you managed to accumulate during that bear market. Let's take a look at what's going on here. The only thing more beautiful than the price action is your excellent presentation skills. Keep up the great work. Excellent content. Thank you very much, Crypto Bro. Thank you very much for that donation. I very much appreciate it. I honestly love when people appreciate the videos. That's exactly what we want to see. We've been doing these live streams since December last year. Every single day. Have not taken a day off. Take my laptop on holiday with me, do a live stream, have not missed a day. So I very much like to hear positive feedback about these streams. And thank you very much for the donation as well. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Have we got any other altcoins we want to discuss today? Let me know if there are any altcoins. Let's take a look at FTT, the token that was with FTX. Look at that. Look at that. That is a crazy price chart here. Please don't forget to like today's video. What you can see here is FTT obviously took a massive fall. If you shorted that last year... it just plummeted and plummeted and plummeted. In fact, at the time of FTT plummeting, I was shorting Solana because Solana is a token which FTX held a huge amount of. And in November last year, you can see it had a similar drop, but it was a bit delayed compared to the FTT one. FTT was an obvious one, and Solana was a bit less obvious, but it still had that. It still had that fall. What we can see here is FTT is massively moving to the upside, up to $2.88 from trading down at 96 cents here. If we take a look at the percentage gain there, it's looking at 194% increase. Huge gains. Jerome says except weekends. Except weekends. If you tell Jordan that too many times though, if you tell that Martini guy that you want me on weekends, he will never ever let me have a weekend off ever again. He always tries to push me into doing weekends, but I need a break at some point. It's been a whole year of weekday live streams, having weekdays as well. It's too much for one person. I personally think, Jordan doesn't think. An internal debate's going on about that. We are going to actually see another face on these live streams very soon. Another guy from Crypto Saving Expert is going to join me on these live streams next week or the week after, I believe. So make sure to tune into these live streams. He's very knowledgeable about the cryptocurrency space. He's also very, very good at knowing, in cryptocurrency, there's levels to your knowledge. Some people focus on the cryptocurrency news, what's going on with Bitcoin and those top coins. And I personally like to focus on the actual technology, how the technology works, the cryptocurrency news, and those big coins and what's moving in times of the price action. The guy that's joining me on these streams is very good at looking at the little niche sectors, finding out what's moving, finding out what's happening next, does all that kind of work, and he is on the ball with it all the time. So it'll be a complementing skill set to have on the live stream. So we'll be doing some live streams together in 2 weeks, and then he'll be taking on the live streams, a couple on his own for the following week. So make sure to stay tuned to hear another opinion on these live streams. It's always nice to get some different point of views. He's very knowledgeable as well, so it should be good fun, and we'll have some nice debates. What else can we see here? What tokens are performing well? Cake is not performing well, so let's take a look at that. Jordan wants video yeah, TMG. I'm sure he's coming back. He's been doing more live streams recently, I believe, and he's been posting on TMG Trades. But he did have a bit of time off, but he's been posting videos a lot longer than I have. So he's allowed time off. What can we see here? Cake, to be fair, it has had a massive rally. Is this going to be an entire level of resistance? Maybe if we take it from this one here and pull this up here, there's a huge level of resistance on Cake, which actually has been broken. And this is actually exactly where we've seen that confirmation bounce. So maybe Cake doesn't look too bad after all. Yes, it's had a 10% move to the downside, but look at that. That looks pretty interesting there on the daily chart. I think I'm going to start trading more often than I do, because the chart's just heating up again. In a bear market, in that sideways action, trading just isn't enjoyable. In these markets, trading is enjoyable. So I'm going to take a look at that one. That's pretty interesting. Crypto Brace will take a look at TON. So let's take a look at TON here. So we'll go for this one. Let's see what's going on here. Obviously been performing pretty nicely. Let's take a look. In fact, is there not another chart? Let's go. There we go. Let's see what's going on here. So what we've got here is, let's pull this across. In fact, we've clearly got on the daily chart, if we go to horizontal ray, we've clearly got a level of resistance there, $2.67. That's more obvious than any of them. We've got another one there at $2.92 as an all-time high there. What is this? What is going on? There we go. There we go, it's gone. So what you can see here is we have a level of resistance at $2.67 that was used previously on the 18th of December last year. We have bounced that exactly right now, so that resistance is holding strong. That's something I would be keeping an eye on. But it's had some positive price action here. Altcoins are heating up. Altcoins are getting exciting. If Ethereum ETFs are on the cards, and there's some excitement rotating about Ethereum, altcoins tend to be following that shortly after. And we will see that hype rotation over and over again in the markets. So be prepared for that. There's lots of excitement to come. I think that's all we have for today's stream, though. So thank you very much for tuning in, as always. I hope you have enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. We will be back here on Monday, because I am having the week off, Jerome, the weekend off, in fact. And we will be back here on Monday with another cryptocurrency news update. Monday morning, we're going to stick to the mornings now. We will be analysing the CME chart there to see if there's a CME gap there and what that could impact for the next week. But we will stay tuned on that. Make sure to stay up to date with crypto over the weekend. Follow us on Twitter at CryptoSavingExp, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, all of that good stuff. But that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for the donation, Crypto Bro, and thank you to everybody in today's stream. I will see you all back here on Monday. Goodbye.